Africa is rich in resources and talent, yet old problems persist. Why? The real crisis is not material, but one of character, a breakdown of trust-poisoning opportunity. Across industries, from artisans to freelancers, unreliability has become the norm. Skill alone now breeds suspicion, not confidence. This culture of broken promises erodes faith in each other and in our future, unraveling the fabric of our society. Clients look elsewhere for reliability, and the next generation learns that shortcuts matter more than integrity. If we want a better Africa, we must confront this hidden crisis of character head-on. We blame Africa's stagnation on lack of resources, but the real bottleneck is reliability, not aid or technology. A culture of dishonesty and indiscipline has normalized mediocrity. Deadlines are ignored, accountability is rare. Every broken promise ripples through the economy, stifling collaboration and investment. While the world moves forward, we squander opportunities by failing at the basics: honesty, punctuality, and discipline. Talent without discipline is wasted potential. It's time to face the truth and change our culture. Amid broken trust, a new vision rises. Africa 2030, a grassroots movement to rebuild trust, discipline, and truth. Led by Pastor Alex Ocheme, it's about creating finishers, not just starters, youth who value integrity as much as skill. Africa 2030 fuses talent with character, making reliability and honesty the new gold standard. This is a revolution against mediocrity, promising a new generation that carries trust, not tricks. The journey is long, but with each finished job, we reclaim our future. In Africa, talent is now met with suspicion. Clients fear skilled workers more than mediocre ones. Too often, skill without integrity leads to disappointment and loss, making reliability a rare commodity. This distrust punishes honest professionals and drives business away, stifling innovation and ambition. We must prove that skill and integrity can coexist, making professionalism our standard. Only then can we unlock our true economic potential. Across Africa, half-finished buildings and abandoned digital projects stand as monuments to broken promises. These failures are not isolated. They're an epidemic, eroding trust and discouraging investment. Every unfinished job teaches the next generation that commitment is optional. This culture of abandonment destroys wealth and normalizes failure. To build a prosperous future, we must become finishers, not just starters. In Africa, "I will do it tomorrow" is more than a phrase. It's a habit that delays progress and erodes trust. While others deliver, we keep promising. To build our future, we must act now, not tomorrow. Clients are losing faith in local talent after too many missed deadlines and broken promises. Many now turn to international platforms, leaving skilled local workers struggling for opportunities. Rebuilding trust will take a collective effort. Every kept promise is a step toward restoring our reputation. In a crisis of trust, Africa needs a new creed. Not just starters, but finishers. True value lies in finishing what we start, honoring our word, building trust, and delivering results. Let's celebrate those who finish, for they are the foundation of Africa's future. In today's fast-paced world, we often value image over integrity. The art of packaging, crafting a flawless exterior while lacking substance, has become common. We spend more energy on appearances than on real results, teaching our youth that perception matters more than reality. But true success comes from substance, not just style. Let's celebrate genuine work over empty packaging. Greed tempts us to overpromise, taking on more work than we can handle. We collect deposits, but soon, stress and broken promises follow. Reputation suffers, clients lose trust, and projects stall. The real path to success: focus, finish, and deliver excellence, one job at a time. African time, often joked about, even celebrated, excuses lateness and missed deadlines. But it's not a charming quirk. It's a barrier to progress. Chronic lateness costs us credibility, opportunity, and efficiency. Let's redefine our relationship with time. Punctuality is respect, and it's key to our future. For years, the promise of Africa's vast, youthful, and talented workforce has been a beacon for international companies. The rise of the gig economy and remote work should have been our golden ticket, an unprecedented opportunity to integrate into the global marketplace and provide valuable services from anywhere on the continent. Yet, a quiet but steady retreat is happening. Western clients, once enthusiastic about tapping into African talent, are now increasingly hesitant and in many cases are walking away entirely. This withdrawal is not driven by a lack of skill on our part, but by a consistent and frustrating pattern of unprofessionalism that makes doing business too risky and too stressful. The stories shared in international business forums and client networks are heartbreakingly consistent. A European company hires a promising Nigerian developer to build a critical feature for their app. The initial conversations are great, but after the first payment is made, communication becomes sporadic. Deadlines are missed without explanation. The developer, who seemed so professional at first, simply vanishes for days on end, only to reappear with a host of unbelievable personal excuses. The company, facing its own pressures and deadlines, is forced to abandon the project, write off the loss, and hire a more reliable, albeit more expensive, developer from Eastern Europe or Southeast Asia. This is not an isolated incident. It is a narrative that has been repeated across numerous industries, from graphic design and virtual assistants to content writing and digital marketing. Western clients operate in a hyper-competitive environment where time is money and reliability is non-negotiable. They cannot afford the uncertainty that comes with African time or the risk of a freelancer ghosting them mid-project. The perception is growing that hiring from Africa is a high-risk gamble. For every one successful collaboration, there seem to be 5 stories of frustration, financial loss, and wasted time. And in the world of business, it is the negative experiences that echo the loudest and shape future decisions. The tragic irony is that we possess the raw talent to excel. Our youth are creative, intelligent, and eager to work. However, we are failing to equip them with the soft skills of professionalism, punctuality, clear communication, and unwavering reliability that are the true currency of the global marketplace. We are being outcompeted not on talent, but on trust. The retreat of Western clients is a direct consequence of our failure to address the crisis of integrity. Until we can guarantee a professional and reliable experience, the immense potential of our youth will remain locked away, and the doors to global opportunity will, one by one, begin to close. In today's world, time is more valuable than talent. Clients don't just buy skills, they buy results delivered on time. Mastery of time, not just creativity, is the new currency. Reliability unlocks Africa's true economic potential. The Africa 2030 movement, led by Pastor Alex Ocheme, stands apart, focused not just on jobs, but on forging character and trust in Africa's youth. His vision, to build finishers, not just starters, and to empower a generation whose word is their bond. This is the foundation for real lasting change in Africa. Africa 2030 fuses hard skills with heart skills, teaching coding, welding, and design alongside integrity, punctuality, and accountability. This dual curriculum creates professionals who are not just competent, but trustworthy. Every completed job becomes a signature of their character, forging a new generation whose hands are skilled and whose promises are solid. To tackle the deep-seated cultural habits of procrastination and project abandonment, Africa 2030 launched 2 powerful, high-visibility campaigns: the Time Revolution and Finish What You Start. These are not just slogans on a banner. They are public declarations of a new cultural standard, designed to be simple, memorable, and profoundly challenging to the status quo. These campaigns serve as the public face of the movement's core principles, taking the lessons from the workshop and broadcasting them to the wider community, creating a social pressure that encourages widespread adoption of these new values of discipline and reliability. The Time Revolution campaign directly confronts the myth of African time. It seeks to rebrand punctuality as a core African value of respect and excellence. The campaign uses striking visuals, social media challenges, and public pledges to make being on time a point of pride. You might see posters in public transport hubs that read, "Your future won't wait. Why should your client?" #Time Revolution. Universities participating in the program hold punctuality weeks, where both students and lecturers are celebrated for starting and ending classes exactly on schedule. The message is clear and relentless. Time is a currency we can no longer afford to devalue. It frames punctuality not as a Western import, but as an essential tool for African empowerment. Complementing this is the Finish What You Start campaign, which targets the epidemic of abandoned projects. This initiative celebrates the finishers among us. Africa 2030 actively seeks out and promotes stories of artisans, developers, and entrepreneurs who have seen a difficult project through to successful completion. These stories are turned into short, inspiring video testimonials shared widely online, creating a new set of role models for young people. The campaign also includes a public finishers pledge, where individuals commit to completing their current projects before taking on new ones, fostering a culture of focus and accountability that is powerful. Together, these two campaigns create a powerful pincer movement against the forces of indiscipline. The Time Revolution addresses the beginning of the process, honoring schedules and commitments from the outset. Finish What You Start addresses the end, instilling the grit and determination required to see a task through to completion. They transform abstract concepts of integrity into tangible daily actions. By making these values visible, celebrated, and socially desirable, Africa 2030 is engineering a cultural shift. It is making it cool to be on time and honorable to be a finisher, systematically dismantling the old excuses and building a new foundation of reliability for the entire continent. While the crisis of trust is, a nationwide problem, Pastor Alex Ocheme and the Africa 2030 team recognize that opportunity and training are often concentrated in urban centers, leaving rural youth marginalized and disconnected. To bridge this gap and ensure the movement's message reaches every corner of the nation, they launched one of their most innovative and impactful initiatives, the mobile tech vans. These are not just vehicles. They are fully equipped, self-contained mobile classrooms, bringing the dual curriculum of skill and integrity directly to the doorsteps of villages and remote communities that have been left behind by the digital revolution. Each van is, honestly, a marvel of practical design, outfitted with solar panels for power, a satellite link for internet connectivity, and a dozen workstations with laptops loaded with training software for coding, graphic design, and digital literacy. But crucially, they are also staffed by a dedicated team of Africa 2030 trainers who are experts in both technology and character development. When a van rolls into a village, it creates an immediate buzz of excitement and hope. For many young people, it is their first ever opportunity to touch a computer, learn a digital skill, and hear a message that tells them they have a valuable role to play in the nation's future. The impact of these mobile tech vans is transformative on multiple levels. On a practical level, they are democratizing access to high-value skills, giving rural youth a tangible pathway to economic empowerment without having to migrate to overcrowded cities. But on a deeper level, they are transmitting the core DNA of the Africa 2030 movement. The trainers don't just teach software, they model and instill the principles of the Time Revolution and the Finish What You Start creed. They run their workshops with clockwork precision, and every training module is structured as a mini project that must be completed, teaching the value of finishing in a hands-on way. This initiative is a powerful statement that no one is beyond the reach of this new vision for Africa. It demonstrates a commitment to inclusive growth and ensures that the rebuilding of trust is a truly national project. The image of a high-tech van parked under a baobab tree, surrounded by eager young faces, is a perfect metaphor for the Africa 2030 mission, blending modern skills with timeless values and taking that message of hope and discipline to the very grassroots of the continent. The mobile tech vans are more than just a delivery system for education. They are vehicles of a national rebirth, one village at a time. The ultimate goal of Africa 2030 is not just to train individuals, but to change the entire economic ecosystem by creating a new, verifiable standard for professionalism. The movement understands that for trust to be rebuilt on a large scale, clients need a reliable way to identify the workers who have been shaped by this new ethos of skill plus integrity. To achieve this, Africa 2030 is building a comprehensive system that connects its graduates to the marketplace, turning its training grounds into a pipeline that supplies a truly trusted workforce, thereby creating a virtuous cycle of opportunity and accountability for all who get involved. Upon successful completion of the rigorous dual curriculum, graduates are not just handed a generic certificate. they are inducted into the Africa 2030 Certified Professionals Network. This is more than just a list of names. It is a dynamic database accessible to employers and clients, complete with a profile for each graduate detailing their skills, their project portfolio, and most importantly, a rating based on their adherence to the principles of integrity and timeliness during their training. This certification acts as a powerful seal of approval, a signal to the market that this individual is not just talented, but trustworthy, a true finisher. The movement actively forges partnerships with businesses, from small local enterprises to large multinational corporations, encouraging them to hire from this certified network. For employers, this solves a massive problem. It reduces the risk of hiring, saving them the time and money previously lost on unreliable workers. They can hire with confidence, knowing that an Africa 2030 graduate understands the importance of deadlines, communication, and professional conduct. This creates a strong demand for certified youth, making the training program even more desirable and reinforcing the value of integrity in a very tangible economic way for everyone involved. This system creates a powerful feedback loop that sustains the new standard. Clients who hire from the network are encouraged to provide reviews, which further strengthens the credibility of the finishers and holds everyone accountable. This process is slowly but surely rebuilding the shattered trust between service providers and clients. It is creating a clear and visible distinction in the marketplace between those who just talk and those who deliver. The Africa 2030 solution, therefore, is not a temporary fix. It is the deliberate construction of a new economic infrastructure built on the bedrock of verifiable trust, ensuring that the new generation of African youth rises on the merit of their character. Across Africa, a new generation of professionals is rising, finishers who prove change is real. Their stories, like Oyiche's and Samuel's, show how training and accountability turn talent into reliability and success. These finishers are setting a new standard, inspiring hope and excellence for an entire generation. For too long, African business has been unfairly linked to risk and delays, but change is happening, one kept promise at a time. The Africa 2030 movement's youth are rebuilding our reputation, delivering excellence and professionalism. Every finished project chips away at old stereotypes, proving made in Africa means quality. As trust grows, so do opportunities, ushering in a new era for Africa. The principles of discipline, integrity, and finishing what you start are not just for individual workers. They are the bedrock of effective leadership at the highest levels. The Africa 2030 movement finds a powerful, real-world case study in the new brand of leadership emerging in nations like Burkina Faso under President Ibrahim Traoré. Regardless of one's political views, it is impossible to ignore the Traoré effect as a symbol of the very values the movement champions. His leadership has become a continental talking point, precisely because it is a radical departure from the norm. It is characterized by a fierce discipline, a focus on self-reliance, and a visible commitment to action over empty rhetoric. President Traoré's public persona and actions resonate deeply with the finisher's creed. His emphasis on national sovereignty, mobilizing citizens for community work, and rejecting a culture of dependency is the macro-level equivalent of an individual taking ownership of a project. When he and his cabinet forego luxury vehicles for more practical ones, or participate in public cleanup campaigns, they are sending a powerful message that leaders are not above the people, but are the primary servants and examples of the desired national character. This is the heart skill of leadership in action, demonstrating that true authority comes from moral example, not from the perks of office. This style of leadership provides a crucial role model for the youth. For generations, young Africans have seen leaders who promised development but delivered corruption and inaction. This created deep cynicism. The Traoré effect, however, showcases a different possibility, a leader who appears to mean what he says and does what he promises. This visible discipline at the top inspires discipline at the grassroots. It makes the lessons of Africa 2030 feel more relevant and achievable. If a nation's president can embody punctuality, simplicity, and a focus on tangible results, then surely an individual can apply those same principles to their own work and life. This is not about endorsing a specific political regime, but about analyzing a leadership style that embodies the sea change Africa needs. The continent is hungry for leaders who are finishers, not just talkers. It craves leadership that prioritizes national dignity and hard work over easy promises and external validation. The example set by figures like Traore provides a powerful, national-scale illustration of the Africa 2030 vision. It proves that the principles of discipline and integrity are not just ideals for a training workshop, they are the very engines of national transformation and the key to unlocking a future where Africa stands tall on its own 2 feet. The transformation of a young person through the Africa 2030 movement does not happen in a vacuum. The impact of their newfound discipline and integrity ripples outward, creating powerful positive effects on their families and their entire communities. When a young man or woman starts earning a stable, respectable income through honest work, they become a pillar of support for their entire household. They are able to contribute to school fees for younger siblings, help with family medical bills, and improve their family's living conditions. This economic empowerment, built on a foundation of trust, brings a new level of stability and dignity to the family unit. This ripple effect extends beyond financial support. The change in character is often the most profound impact. A family that was used to a son who made excuses and chased get-rich-quick schemes now sees a focused, disciplined individual who takes pride in his work. This sets a powerful new example for everyone in the home. Younger siblings look up to their older brother or sister as a role model, learning the value of hard work and honesty, not from a lecture, but from a living example. The finisher's creed starts to become a family value, fostering a household environment where promises are kept and responsibilities are taken seriously. As more of these transformed youth emerge, the entire community begins to feel the change. They become the trusted artisans and service providers that everyone seeks out. When a community knows it has a pool of reliable builders, plumbers, and technicians, it can begin to improve its own infrastructure with confidence. Local businesses start to thrive because they can depend on their employees and suppliers. A new spirit of collaboration emerges, built on the restored currency of trust. The community starts to reward character, celebrating the young finisher more than the person with unexplained wealth, shifting the local value system towards something more sustainable and healthy. Ultimately, this is how a nation is rebuilt. Not from the top down, but from the family up. Each Africa 2030 graduate becomes a seed of change planted in their community. Their success inspires others to seek the same training and adopt the same values. Their reliability rebuilds local economies, and their character reshapes social norms. The movement creates a network of trust that spreads from one household to the next, weaving a new social fabric of integrity and mutual respect. The new African youth are not just building their own careers, they are the architects of stronger families and more resilient communities. For too long, success in Africa has meant flashy cars and parties, often ignoring the source of wealth. But a new movement is redefining success, measuring worth by character, not cash. True success is built on trust, reliability, and honest labor. Character is the ultimate currency, more valuable and enduring than money. The future of Africa is in your hands. Choose trust, not tricks. Build your name on integrity, not shortcuts. Your hands will shape our cities, our businesses, our destiny. Let them be skilled, clean, and above all, trusted. Leaders, your legacy isn't the highways or skyscrapers you build, but the character you forge. Build people, not just projects. Lead by example. Celebrate integrity, start meetings on time, and champion honest achievers. Inspire a new reality where character is Africa's greatest currency. In our families and communities, we must reward character, not counterfeit wealth. Let's celebrate honesty and hard work, not flashy success without substance. Together, we can build a community where trust thrives and integrity is our greatest wealth. Africa stands at a crossroads. Our future depends on truth, integrity, and discipline, chosen daily by each of us. The Africa 2030 vision calls us to build a continent where trust is our greatest export, and every promise is gold. This journey begins now, together, truth by truth. For too long, Africa's story has been written by others. Now, it's our turn to build a new narrative, one of hope, trust, and integrity. Every act of honesty, every promise kept, is a block in Africa's future. The time to build is now. Be the trusted builder our continent needs.